Convenience stores. You can find one in almost any country, and yet Japan has transformed the humble convenience store into konbini, a unique form of its popular culture that continues to attract global fascination. Originally from America, the first konbini opened in 1969, with the big three 7-Eleven, Lawson and Family Mart coming quickly after. This was a period of post-war economic recovery in Japan, and the Japanese wanted access to resources in the easiest way possible. At this time, local shops were suffering due to competition from department stores and saw the success of konbini as a new opportunity, prompting the steady spread of stores across Japan.
An important political development that aided the rapid expansion of the konbini was the implementation of the Daitenho in 1974. Stores larger than 500 meters squared had a very low approval rate for building applications, but the konbini, which had an average store size of 100 meters squared, meant that in its early stages, it could pass through the regulations and thrive with very little competition.
So why does Japan have konbini? The simple answer is convenience. Japan has a culture that anticipates people's needs and does its best to address them, otherwise known as convenience culture, and needless to say, this can be reflected in konbinis as well. For every store, there are an estimated 2,000 to 3,000 items on sale. But what may surprise you is that each item has been based off a decision from a highly detailed report.
The point-of-sale system was introduced to konbini in 1982, and where the branch owners were able to collate information about what products were sold at which time. A little-known fact about the konbini POS system is that sales clerks are required to input every customer's gender and estimated age before they're able to make the sale. With this, branch owners are able to predict accurately product demand, and also it ensures that no two konbinis are exactly the same.
For example, a konbini in the business district might stock ties and socks in the early hours for those working late, while a konbini near a beach will sell towels and thongs. Convenience culture has prompted a reassurance to consumers that a product will be stocked when they are needed.
What's important is the konbini's evolution. In the 1980s, the Japanese government allowed konbinis to start selling postage stamps, and this was their first venture into selling something other than food. Other services were then added shortly after, becoming the one-stop shop we know today. While Tokyo is now known for its vibrant city life, until 1985 there were very few 24-hour services outside of the entertainment districts. But come the period of Japan's bubble economy and globalization of financial markets, there was a sudden demand for traders to work around the clock. Many businesses, including konbini, extended opening hours to cater to these new consumers, paving the way for Tokyo to be known as a 24-hour city. During this time, there were many cultural developments that impacted the Japanese lifestyle, and in turn, how konbini were operated.
The feminist movement in Japan saw more women entering the workforce, and a side effect of this is koshoku, or solitary eating. With the rise of double income in single-person households, the idea of the family meal, which was traditionally prepared by the female, was redefined. Konbinis catered to this, with the introduction of single-portion, ready-to-eat meals called nakushoku, which continues to rake in tens of billions of yen, even to this day.
After the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, the Big Three konbini provided emergency supplies to disaster-stricken areas, solidifying its place as a community infrastructure in Japanese society. Impressing the population with its resilience, while other businesses were struggling to resume operations, the Big Three konbini posted record profits 6 months after the disaster. The main customers of konbini were thought to be young single men, but senior citizens and female customers who visited during this time were taken aback by the product range and quality, changing the general perception of konbini. With a quarter of the Japanese population today aged 65 and over, konbini are attempting to appeal to the more mature and sophisticated tastes of this otona demographic, such as stocking fresh produce, replacing metal store furnishings with timber, and healthier food alternatives with better nutritional content.
Japan's use of soft power led them to be dubbed Cool Japan, to describe its cultural influence that projects an image of a national cool. The success of their cultural exports ultimately transformed Japan into a universal cultural superpower. Although it began with the homogenization of Western influences to produce culturally odorless products, such as Hello Kitty or Nintendo's Super Mario, They now produce attractions that appeal and stimulate a yearning for something specifically Japanese. Japan's popular culture is a product of the nation's post-war modernization and a reflection of their social and historical context at the time. Japanese homes are on average only 60% the size of homes in the US, meaning smaller fridges and limited storage space. This drives the need for frequent grocery shopping and explains Japan's preference for quality over quantity. By focusing on smaller portions of packaged food, there is a reflection of the state of Japanese society through popular culture. Additionally, konbini provide a modern background for tradition, selling bento boxes and onigiri in neon-lit display. The konbini is now an integral part of the Japanese lifestyle and has attracted global interest despite its Western origins. While convenience stores in Western countries are often associated with slushy machines and junk food, the Western perspective of konbini is that besides everything else, they provide a staggering range of quality food products and have thus become a tourist landmark. One major aspect of contemporary Japanese culture is the concept of kawaii, which Westerners consider konbini to be a part of, demonstrated through YouTube videos that advertise their fascination, such as the top 10 things to eat in a Japanese convenience store. While these videos provide foreigners with an idea of a konbini experience, it does not and cannot replace experiencing it firsthand. Contrary to other forms of JPC, such as manga or anime, that can be consumed regardless of geography, the konbini is something that can only be found in Japan. Japan's konbini is an example of the flexibility of their culture that is able to adapt foreign influences to retain a Japanese core.
With all of this comes the question, what does the future look like for konbini? In the present day, konbini faces three major problems, the first being market saturation.
As I've already mentioned, konbini's rapid expansion was due to several developments in Japanese society. However, with Japan's shrinking population, this growth strategy is no longer viable, proven by the fact that most Tokyo residents are within a 5-minute walk of their nearest konbini. With more than 50,000 stores nationwide, franchises must now look to improving the performance of their existing stores, and the big three are already venturing into this by collaborating with local businesses. And this maximizes potential profit by meeting more and more diverse consumer needs.
Japanese society is also altering their views on food waste and environmentally sustainable business practices. 24-hour operation and unsold food goods incur significant overheads that directly impact the environment. Change appears to be coming in response to this. For example, 7-Eleven is now offering a 5% cashback on obentos nearing expiry date as an effort to reduce food waste and the costs associated. More franchisees are deciding to return to the original opening hours despite it being against company policy. This change is resonating with at least the Tokyo residents, as a Nikkei survey says 72.6% agree with changing the 24-hour business model. Japan's declining birth rate means the domestic labor market is shrinking. Due to the complicated tasks and long hours, Japanese workers rarely want to work at konbini, and franchisees are turning to using employees on foreign visas. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe approved a bill in November 2018 to allow more unskilled foreign workers to come into Japan to supplement the domestic labor shortage. So whose story is this? Senior citizens may consider konbinis a go-to for when they may no longer have the capacity to cook for themselves or travel far for a meal. For students, the konbini has its place as a social hub for after-school gatherings or use printer and photocopier services during study season. Its 24-hour presence and brightly lit interiors provide comfort to workers walking home late at night, and it is a go-to location for tourists visiting Japan. The humble konbini is something that has developed to mean something different for everyone, but at the root of it all, it is the Japanese population's story which follows the development of their popular culture from national ambiguity to something quintessentially Japanese.
Thank you for joining us on this latest episode of Japan and Popular Culture. Until next time.